Africa is going through a significant transformation. And one of the most powerful ways that we can fast forward that transformation is by gifting knowledge to our younger generation. At 18, in my quest for knowledge, I traveled from Cameroon to Germany. It was my first time leaving home, my first time at an airport, and my first time on the airplane. And as I sat there on the airplane, I didn't recognize any of the food that was being served. So when the air hostesses come by and say, "What do you want to eat?" I just look next to whoever was sitting next to me and I say, "I'll have that too." And once I got to Germany, it was a completely different society from what I was used to in Cameroon. And obviously there were not a lot of Africans in my classes. And one day, one of my German classmates asked me, "Is it true that all people in Africa live in trees?" I looked at him and I said, "Oh yes, it's true. And by the way, the German ambassador in Cameroon lives in one of the biggest trees." He just looked at me and walked away. Thankfully, that narrative is changing. But when people talk about Africa now, they look towards the ground. They talk about oil and gas, gold, diamonds, and other minerals. That's fair. That's fair because Africa does have a lot of minerals. But rather than pointing to the ground, I would like to invite us to look up. Not up into the sky, but up into the eyes of Africa's younger generation. Africa's greatest resource is not on the ground. It is above ground. It is in the minds of the younger generation. And if we want to truly awaken Africa, we need to stop focusing only on what can be extracted and start focusing more on what can be empowered. According to UNICEF, by the year 2050, Africa is going to be home to the world's largest and youngest population. And according to the United Nations and the World Bank, currently 77% of Africa's population is below 35 years old. This 77%, these are the young ones sitting in classrooms across the continent. This 77%, these are the young entrepreneurs standing on street corners, hustling with ideas and ambition burning inside them. And this 77%, these are the young visionaries still waiting to be seen. The real question is not really how many young people are going to live in Africa. The real question is, are they equipped to be able to lead this transformation? In my work, I've helped CEOs, senior government officials, and other companies do business ethically. And what I've seen again and again is this. What makes real leaders is not just ambition, it's access to knowledge. Not just academic knowledge, but real world understanding. Unfortunately, our educational system in Africa and frankly in other parts of the world has not kept up with the times. We are still teaching our younger ones things that don't prepare them for the real world. Back in the day when I went to school, I remember learning things like who discovered the sea route to India? Or who discovered America? These are things that don't prepare people to be able to live in the real world. So what do I mean by real knowledge? Why do economies thrive or fail? Why do systems break down due to lack of accountability and trust? Why is ethical leadership non-negotiable? These are the sort of things that we need to be teaching our younger ones more of. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is to teach them why. Because once you teach somebody why, and they believe, then they're going to figure out the how. And most of the time, they can even do it much better than we could. You've heard about the phrase, knowledge is power. Is it really? Let me offer a different truth about knowledge. Knowledge is a gift. It's a gift that can transform villages, societies, and nations. It's a gift that can spark ethical leadership. It's a gift that can stop corruption even before it starts. But yet too often, we see knowledge as a weapon, something to hoard, something to gatekeep. And when that happens, corruption grows, misinformation thrives, and a young generation of potential leaders are left watching from the sidelines, unsure of how the game is even played. I've lived and worked in Dubai for the past 10 years. And if you can tell, the level of transformation is incredible. And I get to interact with a lot of senior African government officials that come to Dubai. So in one of those interactions, one of the officials asked me, what do these people know that we don't know? What are we missing in Africa? It's a powerful question. Powerful question. I didn't know what to tell him, but I started reflecting. And the more I reflected, it dawned on me that Dubai invests in creating and sharing knowledge. And do you know that every time you pay for certain government services in Dubai, they charge you a knowledge fee? And that knowledge fee is used to fund education, technology, and innovation. So it's not just a smart economy, it's a knowledge economy. And that's what we need to build in Africa. And that starts by us seeing knowledge as a shared resource and not as a private asset. We all have a part to play. So here's my challenge to the older generation of African leaders. There's a popular African proverb that says, knowledge is not like money to be kept in your pocket. It's like water to be shared. You have a lot of wisdom. Don't hoard it. Share it. Pass it on. Let's see how we can avoid the pitfalls of the past. And let's teach our younger ones entrepreneurial skills and help dispel the notion that working for the government is the only path to success. And here's my challenge to the younger generation. Continue to seek knowledge. And once you acquire the knowledge, apply it, multiply it. Africa's future is in your hands. The future is not something you inherit passively. It's something you build boldly. Continue to improve your critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, digital literacy, and social-emotional intelligence. Just like we took cell phones in our hands and created mobile money in Kenya, let's see how we can harness the tremendous potential of artificial intelligence and create the next solutions to Africa's biggest problems. So Africa's future is in your hands. Go all in now. And here's my challenge to the global community. Stop only extracting from Africa. Start collaborating. If you think that you care about a better future, you should be investing as much in knowledge sharing just like you do in infrastructure. After all, a better Africa is a better world. People often ask me, but why are so many African youth leaving the continent? It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see thousands of our young brothers and sisters brace the desert heat in North Africa trying to get to Europe, or burn every cent of their village economy trying to buy a one-way ticket to US or Canada. It's heartbreaking. But let me offer this. It's not always about money. It's about belief. Because when young people stop believing that they can lead change where they are, they leave. But if they're empowered with the tools, knowledge, and trust, they stay. And when they stay, they build, they innovate, they lead. So let's build nations worth staying for. Not with slogans, but with substance. Not with speeches, but with shared knowledge. So what happens next in Africa depends on what we share now. Africa is not a problem to solve. It's a partner in progress. And its future will rise or fall depending on whether this younger generation have the right knowledge to be able to lead effectively. Because when knowledge is withheld, it leads to circles of dependency and corruption. But when knowledge is given freely, it creates strong systems of empowerment and dignity that can transform a country within a short period of time. I became an author because I believe in sharing knowledge. First to my 2 daughters, then to young African entrepreneurs. And I wanted to be able to share tools with them, how they can turn their goals into impact. Because when we share knowledge, we don't just inform people, we elevate them. And once the African youth are elevated, they won't wait for change. They become the change. Because this is Africa's moment. And that's why I say one of the most powerful things we can do to fast forward Africa's transformation is through the gift of knowledge. Again, this is Africa's moment. We must embrace it, and let's build the African dream together. Thank you very much.